Vivian, Yanchak, Mahala.
Yeah. What year were you born, or when were you born?
January the 5th, 1926.
And was that your name given when you were born?
No,
What was it?
Wanda Francis.
Wanda Francis. Okay. Were you named after anybody?
Francis was my aunt, and my mother was Daddy's sister. And I'll tell you how we were so close and that.
Yeah. So she was still alive and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And Wanda, do you know where that came from?
I don't know where Wanda came from. So.
Yeah.
But anyway.
So when did it change?
I don't remember the year or anything, but it was after my husband, Joe, went to work at White's. My daddy kept arguing with me, that is not your real name, because I had the birth certificate changed. And he said, if you ever want to travel overseas or something, you're going to have trouble getting a visa or something. He said, because that is not your name on the birth certificate. So through Austin, we got it. And of course, they misspelled the name, and they charged me $250, and I was so mad. They charged me $250 for it, and I had to have them redo it because they misspelled my name.
How did they spell it? You remember?
I believe they put an E in Yanchak.
Oh. Yeah. So you got your birth certificate changed?
Yeah, I got it.
From what to what?
From Wanda to Vivian.
Yeah. And this was after you were married?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
But I think my grandmother had a hand in name. She didn't call me Vivian, she called me Wanda always. And a lot of my cousins call me Wanda.
Yeah.
Because that's what they were used to calling me. So, but I had already went by the name of Vivian because my grandma called me Vonda. Instead of Wanda, she called me Vonda. So that's how that V got in there. And that's about all I know.
It changed from Vonda to Vivian at some point.
Yeah, I think that's how it got started. How it changed from Wanda to Vivian, I don't. But Grandma called me Vonda.
Yeah, that's so funny. So, where did you guys live when you were born?
Ivis Creek, in a little farmhouse out in the middle of a cotton patch.
Really? And where's that roundabout? Like Ivis Creek, is that?
It's east of Belleville, about 10 or 12 miles, I guess. Right next to Raccoon Bend. You can go from one to the other and never know it.
Yeah.
And my mother had a cousin that lived right there on the same property. I knew him. I used to talk to him always at the store or something like that.
Yeah. And so, how many brothers and sisters do you have? Are they older or younger?
I had an older sister, which I never knew. She must have married and left home, and she never came around, and I didn't even know I had a sister. Wow. And I think she must have ran away from home. They never told us anything about her. But then she was a nanny in Hempstead, and she got sick. And my daddy used to go get her and bring her to our house every weekend. And then she got so bad, she stayed with us. And but I never knew about her. Then I had 2 brothers and a little baby sister. She was a Down syndrome baby. And she died at, I think, 14 months or something like that.
Do you remember her? Yeah. How old were you when she was born? Do you have runabout?
12, I think.
Oh,
12, 13.
Oh, wow.
Because they said my mother got pregnant and change of life. I don't know really what that means. So
yeah, an accident baby.
I wanted to go stay with Chester, my oldest brother's sister, I liked her so much in that. They never would let me. And one day my mother came to me and she said, would you like to go spend a night with Francis? And I like to fell over because she knew she was going into labor and that. And they didn't want me around. So I went and spent a night with her sister Francis. She had 2 boys, but we got along well. And
Yeah.
so.
Oh, wow. Yeah. And your brothers were, how much older were they than you?
I think Chester was 12 years older than me, and Johnny was 5.
He was the closest in age then.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But see, those days, that was birth control. If you nurse the baby, you don't get pregnant.
Right.
So I guess that's the reason Mama nursed me till I started to school.
Yeah.
So.
You remember nursing?
Oh, yeah.
Do you like it? Did you ask for it and stuff?
I guess so. I don't know. I was so used to it in that because I slept with Mom and Dad until, I guess, I didn't start school until I was 7. My birthday's in January. And I slept with Mom and Daddy all the time.
Wow.
3 of us in a full-size bed.
You in the middle.
I don't know how they put up with me in that, but I had my own bed in the same room. Then when my sister come to live with us when she was sick, then she had my bed.
In the same room?
Yeah, in big rooms. We had a big house, but only 4 rooms.
Okay.
Big hallway and front porch and back porch.
That sounds nice.
So.
But you all wanted to stay in the same rooms?
Yeah, we.
So did the boys stay in a room together? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No closets. I don't know where we put our clothes. Behind the door, I think, like something. We didn't have many clothes in the first place. So.
Yeah. Did you feel like it? Like, did your parents struggle, like, with food and money, or did you feel like it was okay?
I think now that I think about it, we were well off, much better off than a lot of them. We had a Model T car. Oh. Daddy went every Saturday and got a big 50-pound chunk of ice. We always had iced tea. And Mama had a big garden. And she always had help. 2 or 3 ladies helped her wash clothes and that because she was sick a lot. And we didn't have money to pay them, but they took things out of the garden.
Nice.
They could have had a garden too, but I guess they chose not to. Yeah. So they thought it was wonderful to go out there and get carrots and turnips and everything out of the garden. And they did too. And they had so much fun. They would talk and laugh and scrub the Daddy's old work clothes and that.
Really?
So,
Yeah.
Clean the house. So. Yeah. Later on, I know my mother had female trouble, and I didn't know, but she was sick a lot.
So is that what was wrong with her? Did she have a disease, or was it just
I don't know what she
problems?
Had. Yeah, I know she had so much trouble with her monthly period and that. I didn't know why she was sick all the time. But I later put 2 and 2 together in that. So.
That's kind of hard to figure out when you're younger.
Yeah, kind of ignored it.
You're a kid,
So she would go to Galveston. She had 2 half sisters, Bessie and Janie, and she'd go spend 2 or 3 weeks. And I cried every day because she wouldn't take me. Yeah. I guess she wanted that time with her sisters and her mother. They lived in Galveston, and I couldn't wait for her to come home and that. So. But that was her time away, I guess.
Vacation.
So sometimes she didn't stay that long. But she rode the train. We rode the train to Wallace. Chester, my oldest brother, lived in Wallace. So and, I said, I wonder what we paid. Imagine the quarter.
Yeah.
That little distance, in that.
Yeah.
We always rode the train there and come back, and Daddy picked us up at Depot.
So you and just your siblings would go, or your mom too? Yeah.
Okay. My 2 brothers were older. They had to stay home and help Daddy in the field.
Yeah. So do you have what are some, like, your fondest memories growing up, like being on the farm or something you remember? Do you remember, you know, playing with your brothers or doing anything special with your parents or?
My younger brother,
Yeah.
he picked on me a lot.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, and my oldest brother, he'd carry me on his shoulders, and
Yeah.
that he'd bump my head on the door, but he didn't care. I laughed about it and that. And my younger brother, we played together and that, but one time he got me in trouble. He pulled my hair, and Mama said, "Come eat dinner." And I was determined to pull his hair back before I came. And everybody had fireplaces then, and he had a comb and he laid it up on top of the fireplace because he knew I couldn't reach it. So I went and got my chair from the table, and I was stretched out reaching for that comb so I could pull his hair back before I'd eat lunch. And my daddy caught me across my upper legs with his belt too. Just one pop, but that's all it took. I went and sat at the table. So I always remember how he got me in trouble.
Fighting sometimes. Yeah.
Kind of playing, but
yeah.
so.
Yeah, that's fine. So do you remember going on any other trips besides Wallace, or did you go to Galveston or anywhere else kind of with the family? No.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
No, not when we lived on the farm.
Yeah.
Because, if you live on the farm, you have your eggs and potatoes and everything. All you have to buy is coffee.
Yeah.
We had our own lard because Daddy would butcher maybe a couple of hogs or something. And I think back now, I think we had it a lot better than a lot of people
Sounds like
did. Uh-huh. And
so you started going to school when you were 7.
7.
And how was the school close by? Did you walk? How did you, did they take you?
6 miles.
Oh, wow.
From where we lived. And I'd say 5 or 6 of it. It was a very small school. Mm-hmm. Had only 2 rooms, and I rode a horse. 5 or 6 of us did. Some rode bicycles and that. And there was a boy that he was older than us. His name was Tommy Balky, and he was so good because we had a shed where we put our saddles, and he sat out there and waited for us to get to school. So he took care of our horses, took the bridles off, and put about an acre, I would guess, grass where they stayed during the day while we were in school. Then he'd go catch them in the evening and saddle them up, help us on the horse, and he just, I don't know why he did it, but he just took care of us.
He wasn't in school. He was.
Yes, he was in school.
But he would not go in, or he would.
Yeah, he
just
would
help you in the beginning.
Yeah, because we would get there earlier and that.
Yeah.
And
nice.
so then my oldest sister and her husband, they were still together then. When they got married, she married Dan Pfeffer. And she lived about halfway, I would say, between where we lived and school. So I stayed with her during the week, and we walked. So about 3 or 4 miles. Yeah. We walked to school.
Did she walk with you?
Yeah. Several kids. No, not my sister.
But other kids.
Other kids. 3 or 4 of us walked. Because, the horse was trouble in there. Yeah. And my horse did not want to cross that Mill Creek Bridge. It was so old and raggedy, and I usually had to get off and lead it over the bridge because it didn't. The other ones, boogity, it went right over, and that not my horse. No, he wouldn't. He didn't want to cross it at all. Yeah. So I don't blame him. I just hated that bridge. But they recently built a new one there. Yeah. Right where Brandis's live then.
Okay.
Down in that vicinity.
Yeah. So you rode the horse when you were at your mom and dad's, but not when you would stay with your
not
sister.
When I stayed with my sister.
Yeah. So did you like school? Is there anything you remember enjoying the subject, or just what you did, or?
The teacher had us help the younger children. And I was in the little room because I stayed there until I was in the 4th grade. and I would sit with other kids and show them how to write their name and that. And George Lee Paha, you know him. You knew him. He died of a heart attack. He was left-handed, and I told my teacher, Miss Myrtle, I cannot teach him to write because I'm not left-handed, and I couldn't hold his hand to write. I said, I can't teach him anything. She was the teacher. I don't know why I was teaching him how to write his name in that. I said, I can't do it because he's left-handed. And so anyway.
So that's interesting that she actually had you guys helping like that.
But the way they taught school then, it was easy. And I guess I was a straight A student. I don't know. But the roads were so bad that I didn't go to school. I failed, I guess, the 3rd grade or something. I didn't go to school. The roads were, even old Model T couldn't make it out. Everybody went with wagons and buggies and stuff like that. Yeah. But those days, you know, they didn't care if you went to school or not. You could go if you wanted to. Yeah. But I wanted to, but we couldn't get out.
So it was just like a rainy year or something.
Yeah. Yeah. It was bad winters then. Ice everywhere and that. So, but everybody had a fireplace that I know of. That was their way of heating it, you know, heating your home and that.
Keep it going at night even, or
Daddy would put a big old log in there at night and that, and it would get pretty hot in there. Yeah. So, but we made.
Yeah. Did you know your grandparents? Were they around when you were younger?
Yes, my mother's mother. She lived in Galveston, and she'd come stay with us and that. Yeah, we had a lot of fun. Yeah. She would whisper in my ear at night. And she wouldn't say anything. She would just go, pss, 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 and I would die laughing. And Mom and Daddy was trying to go to sleep right in the next corner. And he would, y'all be quiet now. I've got to get up and go to work in the morning. And Grandma and I would giggle and go on. And she was just picking on me, I guess. Yeah. Trying to get me in trouble, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. And Daddy's parents, I was baby to her. She called all her grandkids baby. Yeah. Baby, and she spoke Polish, but she spoke perfect English. She didn't say cuss or anything. She said curse. Yeah. Babies don't curse. And she said, you may be poor and have nothing but rags. Keep them rags clean. She said, don't go around dirty and that. Yeah. Baby, take this advice from me. And every time I'd go there, time I'd get to Grandma's house, I'd be whining around, Mom, I'm hungry. Just like kids nowadays, you know. And my Grandma had the same thing we had, bread and butter and tea cakes, they call them, big cookies and that. So Grandma would fix me a butter and jelly sandwich or something like that. Homemade bread, which I'm sure was very good.
Yeah, that's so funny. So did they live close by? Your dad's
they lived in Raccoon Bend, and we lived down in.
So you saw them a little more often.
Yeah. We belonged to a meat club, and Daddy would go there. I guess every 3rd or 4th week was our turn to butcher a calf and produce the meat and take it around to different people that belonged to the meat club. So we always had fresh meat. That's nice. No ice box or anything, because the ice Daddy got, you know, he packed it down, wrapped it real good, and it would last a whole week. So we had ice for our drinks and that. Yeah. But we had a little old thing with a wire. They called them a safe then. That was about the coolest place you could find for your milk. And we had all the butter we wanted because you get the cream off of the milk. We didn't have too many cows, maybe 3 or 4 or something like that. But we had, you know, we drank milk always, warm milk, I called it. So, but we didn't know any better, so it was good too. Yeah. We had a molasses farm right there where you bring your sugar cane in, and they squeeze all that juice out, and that old man that did it, he'd burn it half of the time. And if you ever smelled, we didn't live too far, about 2 or 3 miles from where he lived. And when he would cook that syrup and burn it, oh my God, we could smell it clean over to our house.
That's funny. Yeah. Just for so we have it. Like, what were your parents' names and your grandparents' names? Like their full names, if you know them. Oh.
Mama's name was Bertha Wilson. I
That's
don't
her
know.
maiden name?
No, she was a Freilich from home. And she was married to a Wilson, and her husband had a blacksmith shop. And some men came to the house one night. They broke an axle on their wagon. Could he come fix it? And he said, sure. And he left with them, and they never saw him again. So I don't know if he was kidnapped or if he went willingly. But
That was your, who was that?
my mother's daddy.
Your mother's daddy, okay.
I don't know his given name, but he was a Freilich.
Okay.
And
so that's why she lived alone. And
yeah, then she stayed there. Mom and her brother and sister. She had a brother named Robert and a sister named Mary. And then she went to Galveston, and then she had 2 daughters and a son. Her son's name was Jack, and the girl's name was Bessie, and they were both Bessie and Janie, and they were both telephone operators, switchboard. Yeah. Both had real dark red hair. I don't know who their daddy was. So I don't know. I called her Grandma Wilson always, but when she passed away, she went by the name of Arrington in Conroe.
Okay.
They lived on a farm there. And Daddy's parents, his name was Martin Yanchuk. He was much, much older than her name was Agnes. And I believe they married in New York. That's what the information I got. And he was, she was 16, 17, 18, and he was 36 or 46 or something. Because they always said Grandma had 13 children, but the way I counted it was more than 13. But he had been married 4 times.
Oh.
So I guess there's some relatives out there I don't even know about. So.
Yeah. Maybe in New York.
Maybe in New York.
Yeah.
And they just spoke, Grandma spoke English, but Grandpa didn't. He just smoked his pipe and sat on his little chair. He was both of them real short people.
Yeah.
They lived right by that water tower in Belleville. There's a little wooden house there. That's where they lived in Belleville. Mm-hmm. So I guess that house is gone from
And
there.
they were just alone at that point.
Oh,
when
yeah.
You knew them. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Everyone had left. At that
point. My youngest uncle, Uncle Leon, he stayed home the longest. He was so attached to his mother he couldn't leave her. But he finally went to Houston about the time we got married. So when I got married, he went to Houston, and he married a girl there. She was from Sealy. She was a Loomis girl. And it didn't last very long, but anyway.
Got him out of the house.
Yeah, he finally broke away from Grandma, and then Grandma passed away. So, but she had 2 daughters at Raccoon Bend. You know, she was well taken care of.
And your daddy, too, I'm sure. Helped out.
Yeah, Grandpa. Yeah. I guess, you know, he got up and made coffee in the morning, what I remember about him and that. Yeah. Where Grandma didn't have to get up and do it. She was a little bitty lady. Yeah. But sweetest person, she used this perfect English too. I don't know where she learned all that English like that. But I can't think of anything offhand except I know she didn't say don't cuss, or she'll say, chip babies don't curse, which I think is more proper than cuss. And I guess we were fascinated by that. She was so sweet.
Yeah. So what, do you know, what was your dad's name again?
Albert.
Albert. And do you know what number, I know obviously there was a lot of kids, but was he like a little bit above Leon or like age-wise?
Above.
Yeah.
Uncle Leon was the baby.
Okay, yeah.
Big old guy.
You don't know what number Albert was, though, in the kid order.
If I had to guess, I'd guess 4th or 5th.
Yeah.
Something like
so
that.
Maybe the girls were younger than him, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I have pictures of them.
Okay.
I'll show you.
See those. Yeah. So maybe let's go back to school. So how long did you go to school then? To what grade?
I transferred to Sealy when we moved we lived up here on Columbus Road. My daddy worked for Mr. Talbert. He had a Chevrolet, I believe, place here in Sealy. And he had some cows, a big garden there, and Daddy like worked for him. And that was, I changed 5th grade. And it was really tough for me because a little country school, you know, we didn't have art and music and that. And I come to Sealy and there was all this stuff. So the boy that sat in front of me, the little Schiller boy, he let me cheat on his all the time. Because he knew I didn't know anything about some of them subjects in that. And I had the meanest teacher in the world. I know one time she was saying to read a chapter, and I took the book and I walked up to her desk and I said, do I start from the beginning and read or from that chapter? She told me, you'd better go sit down and start reading. That's what you better do. So I was so scared of her. And her sister-in-law taught the 6th grade, and she was the sweetest person you could ever find. But they were in-laws, so they weren't blood kin. But she was mean. 5th grade.
Yeah.
And then I went to half-term Christmas time in the 9th grade. So I would graduated at 11th. But I just wanted to get out of Sealy anyway. So.
Yeah. So what did you do?
Mama had a lady, Miss Bartay, that sewed for her, and we were at Levine Brothers, next door to the theater here in Sealy, and she was in there buying some material so Miss Bartay could make me some dresses and that. And this lady came in from Houston, Spring Branch, of Office Shepherd, and she's looking for a nanny. Her husband was an accountant, and they owned or something, Ben-Hur. It's a 5 and 10 cent store. So she would be there running that more or less. And she had a little boy and girl, 4 and 2. And she wanted someone to stay with the kiddos. So I jumped at the chance. So Mama said, well, I'll have to talk to you first about it or something. And I went and packed my few clothes I had and I took off to Houston with her.
Yeah.
Didn't know anything about them or anything.
You rode with her that day or
that day?
That day.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mama give her strict orders that I was not to go out at night, anything. And she said, oh, no, we don't allow that anyway.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to. I just wanted to get out of Sealy.
So did you have your room there, or did you sleep with the kids?
No, it was just a new home. And not River Oaks. Another one. We were trying to think one time the name of it, and we couldn't. It wasn't a new home, but it was just a little wooden house, 2-bedroom, and I slept in the room with the 2 little ones. And that little girl, Marcia, she slept in a twin bed, and they called he was Howard Jr., the boy, and they called him Brother. Brother slept in the baby bed, so we were like just touching each other.
Yeah.
So not very nice.
No.
So I had to I think I got paid $1 a day, $7 a week I got, and I thought I was rich.
Yeah.
And
so you worked every day. You didn't get a day off.
No, I got weekends off.
Okay.
Clara, my cousin, would come pick me up on Friday evening, and then she'd bring me back Sunday. They lived on Center Street, which wasn't too far from there.
Yeah. So you stayed with them on the weekends. You didn't come all the way back to Sealy.
No.
Yeah.
She come got me. I didn't want to come back to Sealy. So.
Yeah. And how long did you work there?
I think about a year.
Yeah. And so then
I just.
Did you quit or what?
Yeah, I quit, but I had a replacement, which didn't work out. She'd jump on the bicycle and take off anytime she wanted to. So she told me, Linnell was the lady I worked for. His name was Howard and her name was Linnell. She was from Dallas. And she said she never knew where Shirley was. That was the girl's name, Shirley Workman. I thought she'd be good. And
so you talked to her after you left then? Yeah.
So Shirley went and stayed. And Linnell said, oh, and they called me Benny.
They called you Benny?
Benny. Her sister from Dallas was there like the week before I came, and he had a girlfriend. The the nephew of her sister. Her sister's child was her nephew, and her name was Benny. And they were kind of small yet, so they just started calling me Benny. So she said, "You're gonna have to go by Benny," because that's what they picked up on right away. So, but I had to do so much. Watch them, like play with them, bathe them. I had to wipe the appliances in the kitchen down with baking soda, not Comet or nothing. It's too rough. Use baking soda and that. And now I think about it, she really got $1 worth of work out of me in that. She just sat there, her and the mother, and talked.
Yeah.
And I really had to just take care of them two little. And they went out all the time at night, and that. But they were, really, I thought, good to me and everything. And I just didn't want to stay there anymore and that. So
what'd you do then? Did you move back to Sealy, or?
Yeah.
You did?
Came back home.
To your mom and dad?
And yeah, mom and dad. And I guess Joe and I got back. We kind of dated a little bit before. And
before you left?
Yeah, before I left. And Mama had given Linnell strict orders I wasn't to go out and he wasn't supposed to even know where I was at, but somebody did. And one night we were eating dinner, somebody knocks on the front door, and it was Joe and his friend, old Rudy. And Howard got up and went to the door, and he said, "Benny, it's for you." And I thought, who in the world knows where I'm at? It was him. And I said, "I can't talk to you because Mama gave Linnell strict orders I'm not to go out or anything like that." So he left. But he wouldn't leave me alone. He just kept on, being in my life here and there and that. But I never dated anybody. We'd go a bunch in the car. Like Patterson, we'd have weenie roasts and things over there. 5 or 6 minutes could get in the car. And nobody was really dating anybody. Everybody was just
a group. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's what you did with Joe before you went to be the nanny.
I was, let's see. No, I've quit school before, Christmas. But I worked at the hotel where that donut shop is now, right there on the corner of Thursday. And a friend of mine worked there, and but I got paid for it in that. She's like me now. She didn't like getting up early, and I did. I got up early, and I would make coffee, and we had a bunch of workers. I don't know where they worked around here, Railroad Bridge or something. And they stayed there, and they would come in and get coffee and donuts, something like that. Then I'd go home, and then I'd come back and eat, help her change sheets on beds and things like that. But I got paid for it.
Yeah.
I have no idea what I got paid. Probably $1.50 an hour or $1, I don't know. Yeah. But that was big money to me because I've been working for $1 a day.
Yeah.
At Pfeiffer, so anyway.
Wow. So you don't remember ever going on a date with Joe or anyone else, just sort of a group of friends that would jump in a car and go to a field, or like, is that what you were doing for fun kind of at the time?
Yeah, no, I never. I just went with him.
Would he come pick you up?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because he worked in Velasco and different, but he came to Sealy every weekend, and I saw him in that. And somebody asked me not long ago, "Where did you go on your first date?"
Yeah.
And I didn't want to tell him. I thought, it's none of your business. Where did y'all meet in that? And old Benny Hoshock, that's who it was. And I thought, it's none of your business. I said, it's been too long ago. I don't remember.
Okay, but
it was a little old filling station where you turn to go over the railroad track between here and Wallace. There was a little filling. We went there. And he drank a beer, and I guess I drank a Coke or Dr. Pepper or something. Little old filling station. That's where we went and sat and talked and that. He had a ballpoint pen in his pocket, and he gave me his ballpoint pen. I thought that was so nice of him to give me it.
Did you like it? you said, "Oh, I like your pin," and he's like, "You can have it," or
No, I don't know how it came
yeah,
about. I know he just reached his pocket and gave me his pen, and I thought, oh, he's so generous or something. Didn't know a thing about him.
yeah,
My mama knew him because he had lost his wife like 6 years ago, 6 years before we met. And Pete Nadell, uh, yeah, Adol's his sister.
yeah.
They had a meat market in Sealy, and Mama used to go there and buy meat, mostly hamburger meat. And he would be sitting in there talking to Pete. And she told me one time, he's such a nice guy, and he told me that he just recently lost his wife. And I thought, well, so what?
Do you think your mom kind of set it up then?
Yeah, I think so, because my daddy was so much against me marrying him, and Mama, no, she needs it to make her go straight. I don't know what she meant by that.
Yeah.
Because I never really went with anybody, just a bunch of us would get in a car and we used to go. Patterson's owned half of Patterson. I know one time we went down, you had to cross the cattle door and get to that little creek, and that where we would go. They ran over a skunk. So we got there and we all got back in the car and left. Usually 2, 3 cars would go of young kids like that. Have hot dogs and marshmallows. And it was a little creek. You could take your shoes off and walk in the creek if you wanted to. But Patterson's owned all that land. And he married a girl named Lucille.
Okay.
So Lucille Patterson.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember her. She was sick a lot, though. She was a young girl. But she was sick so much. I don't know what her problem was. And he married her, and then they had a boy and a girl, and then she passed away. I used to meet him and see him. I talked to him a little bit at the feed store. And it was so exciting.
So do you know anything about Joe's first wife then? Or
No.
what happened there? Or
She had tuberculosis. She went to San Angelo, and they thought they had killed that germ or something, but undoubtedly didn't. And, they had that little girl. She was 3 when her mother passed away. And she stayed with her mother's folks. And then he didn't like the way they treated her or something. And they would tell her, don't kiss your daddy because he kisses other girls. And finally Mahalis got her. So I don't know how old she was. But I know she got a driver's license at, 15, 16. So she could take Grandma and Grandpa to the store because they saw us, brought them groceries and took Grandma to the store. And they didn't have any way of getting to the store. So they were so glad that she came to live with them.
yeah. So that's Joe's parents.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah. Francis and Frank.
Yeah.
I don't know much more about
So
it.
did Joe ever act like he was never like a father figure to her then? Like they raised her more or less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That would have been a lot for you to.
Because I was only 9 years older than her.
Yeah.
We were so much the same age and that, so.
Yeah.
And I never felt close to her. She'd come when school was out, and stay with us.
So how old were you when you? So how did the whole marriage thing happen? Did Joe propose to you, or did you?
No, he never did. He never did ask me, will you marry? He always said, you want to get married? I think we should get married.
Okay.
And I just wanted to get out of Sealy, so. Love? I didn't know what love was.
How old were you?
16 and a half.
Yeah. Yeah, you're young. Yeah. So then, I guess you said, okay, like, we're gonna get married. Like, you got married.
Yeah, I guess so. I was so happy. I said, I'm getting out of Sealy.
Yeah.
But my second door neighbor, she and I were such a good friends. And, she didn't want me to leave. So I was so torn leaving her and going. So we got married on a Sunday, and we had our wedding march, everything at Mixville. Come by the house, changed clothes, and picked up a few things, and took off to Temple. That's where we lived when we got married, Temple.
So you moved to the way to Temple.
He worked on the General McCloskey Hospital.
Okay.
He was a gauger. It went down into a basement, and he had to gauge something, how deep you had to dig the dirt out or something. He was called a gauger, whatever that meant. And I was just so happy in that. And it was just nothing but a house out in the country. Wheat. They grow wheat there a lot, or they did then. And dust and everything. And they just took their furniture out of their front bedroom or living room and dining room, and that was, I had to go in the kitchen and get water, to cook with, and it was so inconvenient. So we stayed there about 6 months, I guess, and during the war, and you couldn't buy tires or batteries or nothing. We had to go to Sealy every weekend. But we didn't go to Mom and Daddy. We went to Rodgill's. Joe and Ellie Rodgill. We went to them. Pete and Adele. We never went to my folks. I'd see them in that, but we went straight.
Stay there.
Yeah. So Ellie was always cooking something in there, and we ate and we went out. And then she had Joe Marie, and then when that kind of broke that up. But Frank and Rosie, Daddy's brother, and Matt, Joe's brother, and Matt, we all got together there. Yeah. Joe and Ellie, because they had the house right there at the shop,
Yeah. Did you enjoy it? Was it fun? Or did you not really want to come back to Sealy this weekend?
Yeah. But Mom and Daddy, they moved to Houston and shortly after that, so I had no reason to come back. So then we pulled up and moved. We paid $21 a week rent for that. And we always paid it on a Friday evening because it got paid, because we wanted to be sure our rent was paid. So we paid our $21. We came to Sealy and decided we were moving to Houston. Went back to get our things, and Joe asked Nelson could get our money back because we're not going to stay. We can't be driving up and down. You can't buy batteries or nothing. No, you paid it, now it's gone or something like that. So okay. So we lost our $21, packed our little belongings, and we went to Houston. Mom and Daddy lived in a pretty little white house with vines on the front. I remember it. So 2 bedrooms.
Did you live close to them then?
We lived with them.
Oh, you live with them? Oh, okay.
Because Daddy and Joe worked together, same place. And
were you happy about that move then? Was that better than being in Temple? Yeah.
And I guess the most fun out of that, which was no fun, there was a garage apartment right next to the house. And she worked at Wiener's or somewhere, the mother, but she had a Down syndrome or a retarded daughter. And she was so comical. Yeah. She talked all day. Yeah. You could hear her because windows were open and everything, no air conditioning and that. Yeah. And we would sit there and listen to her. Yeah. And a cousin of mine used to come over always and talk to Joe and everything. And oh, she was so comical. She would she'd come over, and she had orders from her mother. She's not to leave their apartment, but she would come to our house and that. And well, I'll tell you sometime about it.
So, were you working at all during those times, or were you having babies yet?
No. Not until after we built our new home in Spring Branch. Okay. I wanted to buy some furniture. I had nothing in the living room and nothing in the dining room. And my daddy somebody had it in storage. They got a divorce and they had it in storage, and they were moving to Dallas or somewhere. So he got it straight out of the storage building, and he gave it to me. And I said, I work for, what was the name of it? I work with making those big rolls of mop strings. It comes in big round rolls and that. It measured, it had a measuring stick at the end. I don't know what it was called even. I went to work there, and I said, I'm going to work long enough to get me some furniture, and then I'm going to quit. But after Daddy bought me that living room and dining room, then I said, now I'm quitting. Because
you didn't like working there very much.
No, I didn't. I had 3 kids. And
Oh, you already had 3 kids.
Yeah.
So how long? So you got married when you were 16 and a half?
Mm-hmm.
And then how long before you had your first child?
Not quite 2 years.
Yeah.
She finally was born in November. Yeah, not quite 2 years. Year and what?
You had quite a few pretty fast, huh?
Yeah. My sister-in-law and I both wanted a baby so bad we used to go get my brother because they had a baby every year, and neither one of us could get pregnant. And Joe's youngest sister, Bertha, she used to say, "Ooh, Hitler wouldn't want y'all. That he likes women that have a baby every year or something." And then we both got scared we wasn't going to have no baby.
Yeah.
So we were racing which one got. So she beat me. Wade was born 3 months before Bonnie.
Yeah.
And I was so upset with her. I said, "Damn it, I wanted that." We used to go get my oldest brother's little boy, Thomas. He was a baby then. We'd push him in the stroller, and it was a good distance, too. She'd pack his little bag, his bottle of milk, and diapers, and that. We'd keep him all day, and I guess she appreciated it.
Yeah.
She let us come get him and keep him all day, and then we'd take him back home.
Yeah.
Joe worked second shift from 11 to 7. I don't know. Johnny worked at the same place, my brother, but I don't remember the hours he worked.
So were you already back in Houston when you had Bonnie? Or, living with your mom and dad or in your new house?
No, we were in a little house in the backyard.
Okay, yeah.
Like a 1 bedroom and a bath.
Yeah.
Two rooms, but the kitchen was so small. It was like a little, I think she had a man living in there. The people were from Wallace, too. And we rented that little house in the backyard. And and she cried a lot, so.
Yeah.
And so I had my hands full with her and that, but I never worked no more.
Yeah, while you had all the little babies.
Yeah.
Till you went to the mop factory for
the
short time.
that was, you know, before Baby Joe was even born.
Yeah.
Because it's 5 years between her and Jack, so.
Right, so you had Bonnie, Jerry, and Jack all pretty close together.
Yeah, a year and then 2 years.
Yeah. So you were having a baby a lot then.
I know it. I told him, I said, "You get me pregnant again, one of us going to leave this earth, either you or me."
That's so funny. Yeah. So did you enjoy, I mean, you wanted to have a baby. Were you like excited?
Yeah, and I had a boy
and a girl. What you really love to do?
And that's what I wanted, a boy and a girl. I wanted them close together.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was saying. And I enjoyed it. Yeah. Mama helped me quite a bit, you know. But she was so jealous of Jerry because that's the only Mahala boy.
Oh, yeah.
Jerry Jack are the only Mahala boys, you know. Wilbur Joe was, but they all had 1, 2 at the most. Children, huh? I don't believe anybody had more than 2. Frank and them and Jerry had 2, and that they just didn't have many kids.
Yeah. So, like, would you just like, take them out for walks and just like play with them at home and just
my aunt,
kind of just at a home mom kind of thing for
my daddy's brother lived close to us, and Bonnie would walk, and I'd put Jerry in the stroller, and I'd walk down there and stay till almost dark, and then I'd go back home, and because he pretty well worked second shift always. He'd be asleep or.
Do you remember anything really funny with any of the kids? Jack and Betsy as well, like just something unusual that they did, or like funny things they would do, or did they have any weird, quirky things that made you laugh or entertained you?
Probably so. I just grew up with them.
Yeah.
Because I was so young too, and I was like a kid, I guess you would say. Nothing was work to me then. The only thing I can think of is Bonnie crawled underneath my table. They'd eaten cereal. Somebody dropped one. Those rice something, they're like a rice blown up, the grain rice, whatever it was. She stuck it in her nose. and I couldn't get it out. It went past that gristle in your nose or something. And I just panicked in that because I knew it was in there, but I couldn't get it out. So I called Joe's oldest brother, Louis, to come take us or stay at the house with the other kids. And I had taken her to the emergency room to get that grain of rice out of her nose. And, they have a little old long wire thing and just reach in there and get it and take it out. But I didn't know what to do. I thought she was going to die or something. I didn't know. Because she was pretty young then. Because she wasn't even quite a year when Jerry was born.
So you just had fun with them a lot of the time.
Sit on the floor and play with them and that.
Was there anything you found just difficult being a mom? Like any part you didn't like to do, or it was hard for you, or just didn't care for? It was all just fun for you.
I don't remember regretting anything. What I had, but I didn't want any more.
Yeah. You mean after Betsy or before Betsy?
Before Betsy.
She had an accident.
Yeah, because I said, I got 2 boys, and that Mahalas was on cloud 9 because I had 2 Mahala boys.
Yeah.
But Mama didn't accept him at all. She just, because she was so into, Bonnie's name's Bonnie K. She called her K-Baby. And it was just K-Baby this. Her and Wayne were just 3 months apart. But nobody could dance or talk like K-Baby. She always gave her a nickel or a quarter or something to dance, and that. Just like Wade wasn't even because Wade didn't dance or nothing anyway.
Yeah.
And that, but that was her only grandchild, was K-Baby.
Yeah. So, why do you think your mom just didn't like him? Just never warmed. You're talking about Joe, right? Like she just never warmed up to him.
Yeah, we weren't together that much and everything, but no. Just my oldest brother, he had 1 a year, and I guess that got old to her too. Had 11 children. Yeah. It was 1 a year.
That's a lot.
But still, when they lived in Wallace, she would go there and stay during the week and come home on weekends or something like that. Bake bread and everything, so my daddy and brothers could have something to eat at home, And she just pretty well moved in with them to help his wife, Annie, with them little ones. Because third one, Bobby, the boy, he was a preemie baby. He had no eyelashes, no fingernails. I don't know what he weighed, but they put him in a shoebox on the table. Because the other 2 girls, he was a little boy, they would pull him off the table. They were so little, they wanted to look what's in that box. Yeah. And they fixed him a bed in a shoebox. And Mama just stayed there and helped her all the time. My brother worked for the railroad. And his wife, she was so quiet, you never heard a peep out of her. Everything was okay with her. Yeah, baby. She didn't lose any that I know of, so I don't know either, I guess. But, they seemed to be happy, and one helped the other. She'd sit in a chair and tell them what to fix for dinner or something, and those girls would have so much fun throwing food, spaghetti or something on each other and that, and they seemed to always be so happy. And my brother was a truck driver. He was gone a lot. But they were always so happy, with a bunch of them. And one would help the other. I never saw no stress room. How in the world they all lived in that? Somebody had to sleep on the floor or something. Live in that little 2-bedroom house Daddy built for him. He didn't build it, but he paid for it. But
so you lived in Houston. Were all your 4 kids born when you lived in Houston? Was Betsy born in Houston too?
Yeah, we lived in our new home then.
Okay. And how long did you stay there in Houston? Because at some point you moved.
Bets was 3.
Bets was 3. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Bonnie was 9. 8.
And was it like job related that you moved back?
No.
You moved to San Philip at that point, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
We had a dang cat that got on top of our car at night. We had a garage in it, I don't know why. And Joe was so mad that that cat would leave. He said, next time we go to Frida to see Mom and Dad, I'm taking that cat if I can catch it, and we're going to dump it over there. He caught it and put it in a cage or something, put it in the trunk of the car and that. And instead of going to Frida, we turned to San Philip. You know, nothing but a dirt road down there. We saw cows all laying on the road and everything. And there, the house that said for sale was that dang cat that we dumped on the. We dumped it just a little piece down there where I guess Janice and them were along there. Okay. So on that side of the road, Daddy let it out of the cage and that, and it ran off in the weeds and that. And then we wind up buying that place, and there was that dang old cat laying on the porch. And he was the best gopher getter you ever saw. He would lay by that hole until he caught that gopher. Yeah. But it was so funny, and I said, I got it all to blame on that darn old tomcat. Because when they saw it for sale, you know how kids are. Mm-hmm. They wanted a horse, they wanted, well, the sheep was given to us. Yeah. Mother abandoned it or something and that. And pigs, we had a couple of pigs or something and everything. So you just decided you wanted to move back then? Oh, I hated it. You dropped the cat off, but then you saw the for sale sign and wanted to move. And we had a 3-bedroom home. Yeah. And you move into a 2-bedroom home with 4 kids, you have to thank God we had that little room by the garage where they lived while they were building that house. So the boys, that was their room. Thank goodness we had that. Yeah. Wasn't convenient, but that's all we had. And the girls had 1 bedroom and we had the other. Mm-hmm. In that, but I didn't like it at all. I just wanted to go back. Jack had asthma so bad, and you know, we moved the 1st of May, and Weesace was in bloom, little yellow flowers, and you could smell it, man. And he got so bad, and I told my doctor, Dr. Horrell, that time, I think I always told Daddy, we're gonna have to move. He can't stand that, because nobody wanted to move but me. And he said, no, that has nothing to do with it in that. But he had asthma so bad, he just rolled on the floor crying and that. And then when he had his tonsils taken out, he weighed 72 pounds when they weighed him to check him in. Of course, he liked to bled to death. They had to take him back to emergency room and keep him there for several hours and that. But when I took him back for his first checkup, he weighed 54 pounds. Oh, wow. From 72, thank goodness for pants that had elastic in them. He could hold him up. But he was so sick. When I took him back for checkup, they let me go in that one room and he laid down on that table in there. But that's how much weight he lost. You know, but I guess he gradually, I don't know. Did he ever tell you how he got over it or what? No. I don't know the story. Wow. Yeah. So you really just didn't want to move back to Sealy or San Philip or anywhere back here. You like living in the city better. Well, it was just the circumstances, I guess. Not enough room. And being in the country and everything was so different. Of course, Annie and Evelyn, they came over every day. And, you know, Evelyn lived in San Philip, I guess, then. It was just all country there. Yeah. Cows on the road, you had to be careful how you wouldn't run them at night, because they said the mosquitoes wouldn't bother them so bad if they got away from them bushes, you know, they'd lay on the road. You drive down there at night, you better be careful, because they were sleeping on the road. So it wasn't nice at all. Not convenient. Meats didn't live there, you know. Nobody lived there hardly. All the houses came up after we lived there. Of course, they liked it so much, and they won. The kids and Joe. Oh, yeah. That was it. Just like Larry wants to move to Belleville now. That's how I told. Oh yeah, we just had to buy, and I don't remember what we paid for it, but it was very, very small amount what we paid for it.
Yeah. So did you start working anytime? Like once the
Yes.
kids went back to school, or?
I guess we lived in San Philip not long. I'm gonna guess 2 or 3 months. Bill Sodlock come to the house one day that if I would come work for him at Riverside, that he had a school teacher working from Brookshire or something, and she quit. Her husband wouldn't want to let her work no more or something. He needed help so bad, and I thought, now is my chance to get away from this house.
Yeah.
So Evelyn kept Betty Jo, and she was just like a mother to her. She'd sit and rock her all day and that. Cause she used to run fever a lot, Betty Jo. Maybe she didn't have her tonsils taken out, I don't believe. I don't know what it was. But I thought, now is my chance to get away from the house and that I don't have to look at that.
So you liked working there? Was it fun?
No, because it was too long hours.
Oh.
And the school teacher said her husband wouldn't let her, because, Bill wouldn't come in from the fixing fence and working somewhere and that until dark. And then he would drink 2 or 3 beers and go to the house and eat. And I wouldn't get home till 8:30, I guess. And I had a family too.
Yeah.
They were all bathed and had the homework done, and that when I got home and that. So, and they were telling me, just tell him that's what happened to that school teacher. She said I can't work any later than 6 o'clock. Yeah. And he just didn't need anybody if they couldn't stay longer. And I did. I stayed. They were playing pool and that in there at Riverside and that. And the time I got home, that threw me so late.
Yeah.
So I made, what did I make? 50 cents an hour. We had to wash all the dishes by hand and everything. It was so hard.
Yeah. So is Evelyn helping with all the kids then in the evening? Or was it
just
Joe?
Betty Jo. Just Betty Jo.
Yeah. So Joe would help get them ready for bed, or they just sort of did it?
Yeah, and in the summertime, say he used to go pick cotton.
Yeah.
He could pick 300 or 400. Work till 3 or 3:30, whatever it was, and get home, change his clothes, and go pick cotton at Bivalas.
Yeah.
So everybody was scattered here and there. Boys always had jobs too when they got a little older and that, Yeah. Oh, Ben Gottschalk, he said, one thing about us, you never see them kids running on the street. About our kids, he said they're always working or they're in their house. They're not running on the street like most of them. I thought that was a real compliment.
Yeah.
They did. I gave them lunch money. That's all I gave them. They pretty well bought their clothes and everything.
They sort of took care of their own homework. And,
they were a little bit older, I guess. And I guess they were happy there too. I don't know. Yeah. We had a lot of peach trees. Ludwig Sodlock used to come practically every morning, every other, with his little bucket and pick them little bitty peaches, hard as a marble. They eat them for breakfast, he said. Yeah. And Daddy pulled them all up. Joe pulled them all up. He didn't want them. They were just in the way. Well, we didn't use them anything. They were too little to can and that. So we didn't really eat them like that. But he said they ate them for breakfast. Can't imagine eating a hard peach for breakfast.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. So then, did you work at Riverside for very long, or?
Quite a while.
Quite a while, huh? Yeah.
How long did I work there?
With the kids out of
Because I
school?
worked with Edith and Mr. Mazach and different ones. I'm going to guess 4 or 5 years, I guess. Then I went to work at the meat plant. Locker plant up here on Highway 36.
How's that? What did you do there?
Wrap meat. People brought in calves. We had to keep it separate. Yeah. And then 50 cents an hour. Yeah. And I asked for a raise, and Mr. Phillips said, we're paying you tops now. So I thought, well, if 50 cents is tops, what's the lowest you'll go? And, they were putting more and more work on me. They'd go on vacations and that. And we had to write people when their meat was ready, cards, drop it in the mail. I had to write the cards out that your meat is ready. You can pick it up at any time. Made bank deposits in that for them. I just kind of took over when they left, and I thought 50 cents an hour, and all I do, and I made like $25, $26 a week. So
good for you for asking.
yeah,
bad on them for not giving it to you.
yeah. But you get so used to one place. I knew everything.
Yeah.
I was scared to death of the freezer, though. That somebody, for a joke, would close that door.
Yeah.
And big old heavy door. I don't think because boy, we made sure it wasn't closed when we went, us women went in there to, get somebody's meat or something like that.
Yeah.
And we had to do it a lot too.
No one ever got caught in there.
No, nobody got caught in there.
That's good. So that would scare me too. Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah. So I guess the kids were older by that point then, in high school or.
Yeah, Jerry worked at Riverside.
Yeah.
He got burned real bad putting water. When the car drive up, somebody'd run out there and sweep the inside, and clean the windshield, and that. And he opened the radiator and it burned him. I think he quit then. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Jack too. They worked with Peanuts and Mr. Frank, our neighbor.
Yeah.
He had some farmland somewhere toward Columbus, somewhere. They always had a job. Jerry worked for Moore in the bottom, down there for a long time. Yeah. When him and Susan got married, he was working there. Yeah. I don't know where Jack worked.
We'll have to ask him one day.
No, he was in A&M already when he worked for Coy.
Yeah. Did you encourage the kids to go to college, or did they just want to? Because it was not as common back then for kids to go.
No, I never encouraged them. Boys, they
Jerry
were going.
wanted to.
Yeah, Jack went into the Navy, and then he had to go back and pick up that first year because he just doodled in school.
Yeah.
And girls.
They just weren't interested.
Bonnie, she went to Houston the next day. She already had a job there, that American National Insurance Company or something. Yeah. That's what Susan did. They moved to San Antonio. She said, day after I graduated, I left Austin. Yeah. She said, and I never came back. The 6 girls and their family, and I imagine it wasn't no picnic living. I don't know, but that oldest girl, I forgot, Karen. She was but they were such a down-to-earth people. They worked for Dr. Gordon's wife. She owned that property down there. And I didn't really know him, Mr. Souder, but her, she was, with 6 girls and that. She had her hands full too. I think she sewed for them. She'd come to the locker plant with her buckets and she'd buy lard because they rendered, when somebody didn't want that fat, they rendered and sell it. Yeah. And she used to come with her little, like a real poor person or something. I don't know. They were that poor or what, but she was such a nice, and I didn't really know him.
So when the kids kind of were going out then and moving out, going to the Navy and getting jobs, so what was your relationship with Joe like? Were you just both working and kind of?
No, I always worked.
Yeah. But were you, I guess at some point, maybe Betsy was still at home, but, Yeah,
she stayed when she went to Catholic school with Evelyn Lotta. And I guess Bonnie just looked after school or something. I don't know.
Did you and Joe do anything for fun anytime?
No.
Or just work?
Sometime on Saturday night we went out. But his schedule was so different than mine. It was on Saturdays, and I worked a lot of Saturdays, even some Sundays during deer season and that. Right. And Joe didn't like it at all. He said, if I can't make a living working 5 days or 6 days, I can't make a living working 7 days. He did not want me to work, but I did. And then on Saturday, if I was home, I, would wash sheets on the bed. I never fixed lunch on Saturday. We had cold cuts and cheese and pitcher of punch or something. because they went their separate ways at night, you know, and that Betty Jo ran around with Charlene Mahala. Debbie Ross, even though she's Karen's age, she was friends with Debbie. She's probably a miracle she wasn't with her when she had that wreck that time. Because Martha Bain was with her, Debbie, you know, when she got killed. And no, I don't know. I know she ran around with Charlene a lot. They went to a dance one Saturday night at Weimar, somewhere over there, and they got a ticket. I don't know who got it, Betty Jo or Charlene. They didn't look at it next day, and it was a Mahala. The cop
given the ticket. That's funny.
With two Mahala girls.
Yeah.
I said, he didn't say anything? No, he didn't say anything.
No.
Wrote them up.
Yeah. So you just were so busy working a lot of the time.
Yeah, 4 kids and that.
Yeah. So, I guess Jo got sick at some point then. This was a little bit after, the kids were older at this point, right? Just in their 20s or 30s.
Yeah, see, Jerry and Susan married right up when they graduated. And they moved to Conroe, I guess. Then they moved to Porter, but they moved to Conroe and that. And yeah, you asked about when Jo got sick.
Yeah, I guess I'm sort of asking about the years. I guess maybe you were having grandkids at that point. What? Because Bonnie must.
Yeah,
have been
Wayne was 6. Wayne was 6
when Jo passed.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Jo always had gum, dentine, and he knew that dentine gum burned him, but he'd always want it, and then he couldn't chew it, and then he'd always get on his lap, dig in his pocket for his dentine gum.
Yeah.
And that. See, he died in 74, and he had cancer 7 years before.
Wow. So were you taking care of him during that time? Or?
No, not until the last 2 years, and I quit work. I quit work.
Yeah.
And then Jerry stayed with me 2 weeks after he died. Jo had that workshop with all the junky iron and metal and everything, and he took it to that dump or somewhere and cleaned up his workshop and that. And then he went back home to Debbie and Wayne. Didn't have Andy then.
So when he was sick before those last couple of years, was he still kind of working and kind of
He did. After 5 years, he went back to work. No, he worked for like 5 years. I don't remember when he went back. But him and his boss couldn't get along. And he said, I'm going to have to quit because I'm going to pick up a piece of pipe and I'm going to kill him someday and then I'm going to prison the rest of my life. He said, I'm going to retire and get away from there.
Yeah.
So he did. So because he already knew he had cancer and just when was it going to get to him and that. Because he did okay and then it spread to his liver and his colon, and doctor said they got everything. Everything is fine. He was fine for 5 years. And then it was in his liver. And so, no, Betty Jo was giving him shots. And, you know, she was going places with Charlene and that. And I said, I couldn't depend on her on weekends. He needed a shot. So I said, I have to learn to do it. So then I was giving him shots. Karen was coming. She worked at the Sealy Hospital. And I'd call her and she'd have to leave work and come give him a shot. She did that for about 6 months or something. I said, well, she can't be doing that either. I have to learn to do it.
Hard.
And he was so skinny, I didn't know where to put it.
Yeah.
I put it inside his leg and that. He always said, I didn't even feel it. But I'm sure he did. He just didn't want me to think it was hurting him.
Yeah.
So then he just got worse and worse until he couldn't eat. Everything he ate came right back up.
Were you worried about what you were gonna do when he passed? Like, you're on your own then. You're fairly young, I guess, when he passed.
48.
Yeah.
I don't think I worried about it. Only thing I could think of is I knew it was coming, and I just kept wanting it to be over.
Yeah.
Because he suffered so and everything, throwing up all always fell out of bed a couple of times, bruised up in that. And I just thought, when is this going to end? Is there any end to this? He can't go on. Like, sat on the commode and he passed out. And Jerry and Debbie just drove up. You know, Debbie worked at the hospital then. She come in there and picked him up like a man, one arm around his shoulder and one. And I said, Debbie, you're going to hurt. No, I'm used to this. She carried him from the bathroom to the bed, back to. I don't know how I would have got him back to bed in that, because she just picked him up like he was a rag doll. And, and when, you know, when your mom and dad got married, I had to go home at 6 because the couple was staying with him had to leave. And he was talking fine. And he died right after midnight in Belleville Hospital because he got worse. Wet
you
in
had
bed.
taken him to the hospital.
Yeah. So Betty Jo went to the hall and got Jerry and Bonnie and them. And Bonnie and them had that car with that back open thing, took him in that. And Jerry stayed with him. And he passed away right after 1 something, I believe it was. So finally the end came. I said, I think I was relieved in a way.
No more suffering.
Yeah, because it just Louis, his oldest brother, had given him a horn off of his boat. You mash that rubber thing because he couldn't holler loud enough for me to hear. If I'd be in the garden or something, I couldn't. So he
would honk you.
He'd toot toot, and I knew he wanted something. And you know, for the longest, I heard that
sound.
I heard that toot toot like that. I heard that horn blowing in that.
In your head.
In my head, yeah. So I couldn't get used to not hearing that horn thing. So I guess who really lived without it too. So.
So what did you move, or you just kept working, or you were not working because you were taking care of him at that point?
Yeah.
So you went back to work. I'm assuming.
I guess I went. I think I went to Fulcher then. Meyer. Gilbert Meyer owned that, and I went to school with him and that. And I stayed there 5 years. And then I went to work at Quanex, Belleville Tube. I wanted to see I never worked in a big plant like that. And I just wanted to know, what is it like to work in there? And I had just gone to work for Walt Meat Market. And she was going to make me like assistant manager, take orders, because I had experience in how they want the meat cut and everything like that, size of roasts and things like that. And I think I would have had a pretty good stay there with them, but I'd be dang if they didn't call me from Quanex. I had no idea when I put but it was a lady in there that I knew, and I think she kind of gave me a pull. I don't know. What was her name? She was Kansas. Somebody, I don't even forgot already. And they called me. They had an opening there. So I run that sweeper. You push that machine like that. But them pipes are flying everywhere in there, boy. You know, if I got too close, they let me know. Get back, get back. They said it would cut you half in two if that pipe would jump off of that where it's supposed to go in that. I didn't really like it there. And every week you worked a different shift. You didn't get used to one shift before you had to go into the night and then back to the day. So I worked there, I guess, 1 year. And he called me in the office that they're going to give me a promotion or a different job, something. And I said, I just turned my resignation in. I said, I'm quitting. I said, I know what it's like to work in a big plant now. Hot, dirty. All my bras were gray and yellow and that, you know, all that dust flying in there and that. We didn't wear a mask either. I don't know.
That doesn't sound great.
It wasn't very nice though, but didn't make much money either. And changing them shifts every week. That was no good either. Just going home, I'd be so sleepy I couldn't. I rolled the glass down the car, let some wind on my face, like I said. Got home, took a bath and everything, went to bed, couldn't sleep. I guess I kind of revived myself in that. I didn't like it there either.
And so you went where after that?
I guess that was my last job. I don't.
Little Bees. I know you.
Oh yeah,
there when I was
Bees.
little.
Yeah. Yeah, say Little Bees, 12 years to the day.
Yeah, you definitely worked there a long time.
Yeah.
We loved having you there when we would go in and see you.
September the 17th, when they opened, didn't have no gas pumps or anything. Yeah. Raining and that. September the 17th. I stayed there 12 years to the day. Yeah. Didn't plan it that way. I just gave my 2 weeks notice. Yeah. And you know what they gave me for going away? A little ivy. Her crumpets are so tight, David. Everybody always like, did you get a bonus or something? I said, yeah, I sure did, right out of the front door. So.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Going back to, I guess, grandchildren, like, I guess, so Tracy is your first grandchild then. Do you remember, like, learning about being a grandmother? How did you feel about that?
Well, I guess I was excited. I don't know.
Yeah.
I worked at Sykowitz then. My sister-in-law, Gladys, Johnny's wife, worked there, and we carpooled together and that. And I said, oh, Lord, she was just born. I said, I hope they don't put me in the department with infants. Well, that's the department I went in. So I didn't have much. I made $98 a week. And time I bought this little dress and them little booties and everything, I didn't have much left. I said, oh, I didn't want them to put me in the infants. You know, Gladys worked with, 6 to 12 age, some older boys department she worked. And I really wanted to be with her, but you can't tell them where you want to work or what. And I didn't know beans about any of them. And and I stayed there a year because Bonnie took over because she was doing everything at home, and I said it was too much for her. Yeah. Washing and cooking and that, and taking care of Tracy and that. So I said, I'm gonna quit. She's gonna go to work. Yeah. So then she went to work, and I was a little bit worried about Robert coming. He come that one morning right when I was leaving to work, and I was so worried. I said, why didn't I stay home? Because just her and Tracy were there, you know, and he knew it was nobody else around. So when I got to work, I called her, and she said, yeah, he left right after you left. And he always had an excuse. He wanted to see Tracy, you know, but I didn't know what he might do or something.
So he's Tracy's dad.
Yeah, they were married. Yeah. Schultz.
But she was not with him at the time then?
No.
Okay.
No. He come to the hospital and brought her flowers and that, but never paid anything on her. Bonnie had to, you know, pay all what she owed at the hospital. And that, so, but he never paid anything. But he tried to, I guess, stay in touch with her, or it seemed that way. But he was no good. Drug her all over the country and tore up her car and that. And come to Sealy and that he had a good friend in Corpus Christi. He's going to Corpus Christi to work. Joe said, nope, you're not taking her out because she was already pregnant then. Said, nope. Said, you go get a good job, get an apartment, she can go with you. He started putting things in the car. Joe, I think Joe took his gun, I'm not sure. He said, you're not going anywhere with her. So anyway, he left. So she stayed with us.
So you watched Tracy then? Is that where Nanny comes from? Did Tracy name you Nanny? Like,
I don't know.
Where did we start calling
Tracy
you
has
Nanny?
asked me that. So like, who gave you the name?
I would think it would be her.
That's what I told her.
Yeah.
I said, I don't know. And who started calling Louis Hooley? And then it kind of spread. Someone called him Louis.
Yeah.
Someone called him Hooley. And I said, I have a hunch it was you, one of you.
Yeah.
I don't know where they got Hooley from. It's not even like Louis or.
Yeah. I might ask just some kind of more random questions, I guess, now. Like, so there's been a couple wars, I guess, in your lifetime. Is there any one particular that you like remember or that was affected you? So I guess when you were little, it was World War II, Korean War, anything, or is it kind of just like it was difficult, as far as rationings and stuff like that, but it wasn't something on your radar very much, or
Mm-mm.
yeah,
No.
didn't affect your life as much.
I wrote to 2 service guys, so.
Oh.
But I never had dates with them or anything. I'm trying to think who they were because I wrote that one and I said, you won't be hearing from me anymore because I'm getting married. And I didn't want to tell him it's because he knew Joe and that.
Yeah.
And then he wrote me back and he said, congratulations, I'm glad for you or something. He said, but the most important question you didn't put down, who are you marrying? And I didn't want to tell him. So I had several pictures. One of the I don't know how you pronounce it. It wasn't pronounced like it was. She sewed for Mama too. She lived between here and Belleville. Her brother, I guess he kind of liked me or something, but I never had a date with him. I was too young, really. I just run around in bunches like, and sent me a big picture. And I remember one day at Mama's when they lived on Kansas, and I took them pictures and I burned them. I said, I don't want him to see them. He'd be mad or something. And I said, why did I do that? I'd like to look back at them now and that.
Yeah.
And that, so.
Yeah. They
But
were. That's interesting.
anyway,
Yeah.
no, I didn't miss nobody.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting that there was some. You don't remember who the other person was? You said 2, maybe. That one's the one you remember. Yeah.
I don't know. I always wondered what my mama meant by keeping me straight. Yeah. What can you do? Those days had no money, no nothing. You can bunch of them get together, and we were real good friends with my second door neighbor over there. Her daddy worked for the railroad, and he was Spanish, but his last name was Wright. And Stella was a couple of years older than I am, so I listened to a lot of her stories. She was dating a guy from Rosenberg, and her mama didn't know it. And she would tell me all about it. He gave her his picture, and she didn't want her mama to see it, so she put it behind another picture. She had one sister, Janie, and she had a little girl, and they just worshipped her, the only grandchild. And she had an 8x10 picture of her in her room, and she said, I put his picture behind it. I could take it out and look at it. But she found out about it, her mother.
Yeah.
Said she tore it up or something, I don't know.
Yeah.
That she didn't want her to see nobody.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's so funny. There's so many questions I could ask. I guess, this is a good one. What's the scariest thing that's happened to you in your life? Like a scary event or anything? It could have been an accident or someone being mean or I don't know, anything like that happen that really scared you besides the freezer? If you don't know, that's okay. Were you ever in an accident? Car accident or anything?
No, I hit a dog one time. I used to take Joe to work so I could keep the car sometime.
Yeah.
I had on my house coat, and that big old black dog came from the ditch something, and I hit it. And I got nervous and everything, and but it walked away. Like I said, it's gonna be okay. But it wasn't. When I went back home, it was laying there dead. And then it hit me later. Oh, I killed that dog. But he ran in front of me. I couldn't help it. And I guess that's about the scariest. And I said, here I am, and I ain't gonna call no police or nothing. Well, police wasn't around those days anyway. And I said, I'm in my house coat and everything. I just run him we live real close to work. he could have really walked there.
Yeah.
But I was taking him and so I could keep the car, and
Yeah.
I really was shook up later. It hit me.
Yeah.
And I was going to Bonnie's one time too, and it had rained, and I hit I don't know, what do you call it, where your car starts spinning
like
around, and
hydroplane, yeah.
And there was a big truck behind me, but he stopped, and I just turned my wheel and went on. And it didn't hit me till I got to her house. I said, "Oh God, I got to tell you what happened." My car started spinning around on the highway, and that hydroplane,
hydroplane, yeah.
And I said, "Lord was with me." I said, "That big old truck just stopped there and let me straighten out and go again." Because, freeway's always busy.
Mm-hmm.
Has been since Jesus' time, I guess. So.
Yeah, that is scary. Oh. This is an odd question, but it's like, I guess it's the way it's worded, like, what is the funniest practical joke you ever played on somebody? But it doesn't have to be that. It could also just be like funny things, like any really funny memories that just like still tickle you.
Oh yeah, didn't happen to me, but I laughed for weeks in that. Oh God, somebody, American Legion Hall here in Saley, somebody got met from the family anniversary or something, and Joe Kutra, being a man, he dressed like Grandma Mahala, fat and everything, and Bertha was Grandpa, skinny with his suit on, mustache and everything. And Ronnie Ross was little then, about, I don't know, 5 or 6, 7. He was the flower boy, not flower girl, flower boy. And Joe was hitting him with his purse always. He was the woman in it.
Yeah.
And they had a march, and they were leading the march. And I think everybody just rolled on the floor, and that he was so funny. And Bertha too, she made a perfect man. She was little like Grandpa, thin and everything. Yeah. She didn't do much, but Joe, he was hitting everybody with that. When a man carries a purse, he looks funny anyway. And he was hitting Ronnie always over the back and that with that purse, that he wasn't walking right or something like that. And I think everybody died laughing about that, and that's a long time ago.
That's really funny. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you have to see it too.
Yeah. Maybe there's a picture somewhere we can find that.
They didn't take pictures of that.
No, I know. It's too bad. That's the kind of pictures we want. So, I think we're getting close. Is there anything that you wanted to do in your life but haven't done? Like anything you wish you would have done, or?
Oh yeah.
Some things. Anything specific?
Not that I want to talk
about. Okay. Okay. Let me think. Well, I guess it could be now, or when you were at any point. I guess maybe as an adult. Just like, what do you like to do when you weren't working? Sounds like you were working most of the time, but is there anything that you did that you really enjoyed? A hobby, or just relaxing, or anything?
I had very little relaxing time.
Yeah.
Ironing 22, 23 shirts. Everything was cotton between Daddy and the 2 boys. I'd have to iron like sometime in the 20s shirts. And I didn't have much time.
Yeah. Did you like music, or I guess when TV came about?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I thought I was. Daddy bought me a TV too, black and white, And
yeah.
Joe's brother Frank used to come home. They all smoked cigars, and Gilmore, the man that Frank worked for, had a shop and everything. He smoked cigars.
Yeah.
And I'd try to sit in there and watch wrestling and that with them. Doors closed because the kids would sleep and everything. And I always got so dizzy. And I said, I don't know what it is. And I finally figured it out. It was all that cigar smoke. you know, with three of them puffing on a cigar in that room and that close the doors and that so the noise wouldn't wake them up, I guess was the reason why.
Yeah.
And I said, oh my goodness, I couldn't stand that. So I said, y'all can't do this anymore. You know, it makes everything smell like smoke anyway and that. They're all cigar smokers. So I said, oh Lord.
So is that what you would watch, wrestling?
Yeah, but I'd go to bed.
Yeah.
They'd sit there and watch wrestling and that. So.
Was there anything that you like to watch that you would get to besides wrestling?
Hee-Ho.
Oh, yeah.
Hee-Ho. That was something new to me. Yeah, on Saturday evening or something.
Music.
And to watch Hee-Ho. Yeah.
Funny.
And it's still on. Reruns.
Yeah, I know.
They're all, I guess, pretty well dead already.
Yeah.
And that. So, oh yeah, I liked Hee-Ho.
Yeah. That's fun.
I didn't watch much TV though.
Sound like you worked a lot.
I was just glad to have a new home and that big and pretty floors and that. I bought me a Kirby vacuum cleaner, and you know you could buff your floor. We had hardwood floors, and you could buff them. They'd shine like a mirror. And my next door neighbor, she had a little girl, and they played together with Bonnie and that. She always say, "Now when y'all go in Vivian's house, be careful. You're gonna slip on the floor and fall down."
They were too shiny.
Yeah, we had a long hallway and that, not that wide, but a long highway. And boy, that thing would look like a mirror when I'd go with that buffer.
Yeah.
You know, and that. But I babysit. Bertha and Louie had a little girl, Judy, and I babysit her and I paid it out, you know. For it. And then I wanted to go. They were a little bit expensive, $129 or something like that. I paid that time for. But you know, with all that floor space. But then my daddy bought me carpet for the living room and the dining room, and that beautiful hardwood floors. And they were really hardwood floors those days, way back there. And covered it up with an ugly old, what was it, dark green or something, carpet, wool stuff. And that. I didn't like that. After it was in, you know, then I didn't like it. But I thought he was so generous to buy me all that and that. So.
I think a lot of people did that back then. They had beautiful floors and then they covered it when carpet came out to be a big thing, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Dad, Mom, you have any questions you want to ask? Any follow-up or anything you're curious about?
No.
Mom?
He'll get me later.
I know. He'll think of something later. And, do you have any bad habits now or in the past?
Ooh, I used to bite my nails till when I worked at Riverside. I don't know why. When did I have time to bite my nails? Oh, I would just bite them till I didn't have anything left. And I never bit my nails before. I don't know why I bit my nails so I didn't have nothing to bite no more. And then I guess I just quit. I don't know. When did I quit?
Yeah, you always have pretty nails now.
Oh, I don't have any. Don't have much left for everything. Bonnie said too, hers has been so hard and long and that. And
so your kids' names, I'm kind of going out of order now, just thinking stuff, did you name the kids after anybody? It sounded like you kind of did a little bit. So Bonnie, go ahead.
I had a good friend, Bonnie Quentin. She was a little older than I am, but we were real good friends. And when she was born, I thought it was going to be a boy, and it was going to be Joe Dickey. Bonnie always says, thank God I wasn't a boy. But it was a girl, so I named her Bonnie after Bonnie Quentin. And I never knew what happened to her or what. And the lady that moved in across the street here, what was her name? Johnny. The lady, though, Quentin. I asked her about Bonnie. It was her niece or something. She said she lives in Beaumont. But later she told me she passed away. But I never knew where she went or where anything like that. And
so you were friends with her when you were younger?
Yeah.
Okay.
She was kind of a mother figure, I guess. I don't know. We were together quite a bit too in that, but she was like 2 years older than me or something, or 3 years older. And Jerry, of course, I was going to try Glenn again because I like the name Glenn. Daddy, no, that's not a Catholic name, and this and that and that. And a little boy died of polio. It was polio, everywhere then. And his name was Jerry Wayne from Dallas. It was in the Houston crime. And I said, oh, Jerry Wayne. And Leona liked to kill me that why would I name him after Uncle Jerry instead of my husband, Joe Jr.? I said, because I saw where this little boy died, and it just hit me. I just love it, Jerry Wayne. Yeah. And Jack, I tried Glenn again. No Glenn. Nope, don't like it. I said, well, then you name him. We can't take him home until you name him. And I just kept thinking and thinking what I'm going to. So then I know I think it really, I wasn't born yet, I don't believe yet, when my Uncle Jack got killed on a motorcycle that time. And I said, I think Mama would be kind of proud if I named him because his two sisters, they were Mama and his half sister, but his full sister, Bessie and Jamie. And Grandma, he lived with his mother. And they took it so hard and that Grandma cooked. He had told her in the morning he wants fried chicken and biscuits and gravy for lunch, and she fixed it, and then he got killed. And they said she kept it for the longest in the refrigerator and that. So I said, I'm going to name him after my Uncle Jack. Just like my youngest little sister that was a Down syndrome baby, her name was Betty Ruth. And see, on the birth certificate, they named her Hilda. And I thought, what a horrible name, Hilda and that. And I said, no. I said, I want Betty like my little sister. So they changed it to Betty. Now, whether they changed it in Austin, because she didn't live that long. She never did walk or anything.
So you called her Betty.
And Betty Joe.
I don't know after Betty. Your sister Betty.
I don't think I named her after anybody. Because we lived there in Spring Branch, and I knew home then, and went to a little grocery store there, and she said, what are you having or something? And I didn't know, and so I said, I have a little girl. Well, your name? I said, Betty Joe, after my husband. And she said, oh, call her Betsy. And I thought, Betsy, no. I said, okay. And I'll be dang if Betsy didn't come in the picture somewhere.
Yeah.
And so I said, now we cut it down to Bets.
Yeah.
I don't think I named her after anybody.
But the Joe part was after Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he called Jerry and Laverne and I don't know who all. He said, we named her Peggy Joe.
Peggy
I
Joe.
said, I did not say Peggy Joe. I said Betty Joe.
He misheard you. That's funny.
Yeah. My little sister was named Betty. Yeah, maybe her. I don't know. I can't think of anybody. But the others, I knew who I named them after. Yeah. Bonnie Quinton. She was so nice though, and she could talk Czech. And if we were around people that talked Czech, she would tell me what they were saying. Yeah. She was really nice. She's real dark. She looked like a Spanish girl, but she wasn't. What her acquaintance, German or something? I don't know.
I don't know.
Do you know how many grandchildren and great-grandchildren and great-great-grandchildren you have?
No, ma'am.
It's too many.
I have it written down on
that paper.
Yeah. But Lord, they've added on so many, I don't know.
Yeah.
Now, grandchildren and great, it wouldn't take long because I have, I don't know, I have
It's okay.
See,
We're all older
11,
now.
11 grandchildren. And then I believe I have 11 great-grandchildren. And after that, it's too many little ones. But
that's hard.
Ooh, I don't know.
And some of them are like the same age. Like, so your great grandchildren, like my kids, are kind of the same age as your great great grandchildren, like Timmy's kids. You know, like it starts to get off too. It's hard to remember always. Then
you know, have to have a pen and paper, I guess. Write it all down. Take one by one.
Yeah.
Because Bonnie had 4, Beth had 2, y'all had 3. 8, 9, 10, 11.
Jerry has 2. Yeah.
How many would that be? I thought I knew.
I don't know.
I thought it was 11.
We need someone who's good at math. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about? Any stories that you thought that maybe you would like to tell, or?
No, about this Wanda business. I don't know where it came from. Why Mama named me Wanda, I wonder. Did she know someone?
Yeah.
Because when I was born, my mother took pneumonia. And my mother and myself went and stayed with my aunt and uncle. They lived close by there in Raccoon Bend. And Daddy and my 2 brothers moved to that new farm we moved to in the bottom, Bellard's bottom they called it. So Mama and I stayed, I don't know how long, at my aunt and uncle's house. And Daddy and the 2 boys moved on down there. And that was Daddy's oldest sister, Aunt Frances. I don't know. Mama didn't seem to take to down here either. And I know the little house that I was born in, just a little old wood frame. I guess the wind whistled through the cracks and everything. I said, no wonder she took pneumonia.
Yeah.
Guess they had a midwife and that. And I don't know why, but they said she took pneumonia and she couldn't take care of me or something. And so Mama and her went and stayed with my aunt. And they had 6 kids of their own. So they probably didn't have, but they were real close. When Mama was in the hospital, when she had her last surgery, I stayed with them. Not all the time, but when I was here, she just made me feel at home. And that. Of course, by then, most of her kids were married and that. But her youngest daughter, Marie, and I were real good friends. They built her a little playhouse, and I just thought that was the most wonderful thing. I wanted to go there always. Macaroni boxes and Rice Krispies boxes or something like that. That was our groceries we had, and that had so much fun. And then they tore it down, and I didn't want to go there no more. Then she got married, and she's a little older than I am. So I know I was telling my mama, I said, Marie don't want to play with me anymore. I don't know what I did to her or something. But she said, she's older. She's fixing to get married and that. And I was still a little girl.
Yeah.
So no more playhouse. Is that still on?
It's still on. Yeah. How old were you when your parents passed? Just timeline-wise.
Mama died at 52 or 53. I don't know. I'd have to figure it up. I don't know.
What year were you born again? 26? So you were in your mid-20s.
Because I didn't have Betty Jo then, and I had her when I was, 26, I think.
You're probably in your early 20s then.
Yeah, something like that.
And your daddy?
Daddy was 72.
Okay.
He was the oldest.
He was around for a while then.
My 2 brothers both died at 60. My husband, Joe, was 63. Everybody kind of died kind of early in life and that. I don't know why I'm hanging around so long.
You're doing good, Nanny.
So I don't know. I'd have to figure it out. Yeah, I married at 16, mother at 17, widow at 48. 93, I'm still kicking.
Yep.
Not very high. I know I've lived a fast life.
Yeah. Anything else?
Get it off your chest now.
Yeah, I know. Now's your chance.
Nothing to get off my chest. But for some reason, I keep thinking, and I'm sure I'm wrong about this, that we were living in San Philip already, and Uncle Johnny came over to our house and told you that that your mom passed away, that Grandma Yanchek passed away. But I must be wrong about that.
Yeah, Clara and I spent a night in Belleville Hospital with her, and she didn't know anybody, my mother. They were spraying her room with.
So we didn't live in San Philip when Grandma Yanchek
No,
passed?
no. We
Because
lived on Darling.
Something is stuck in my head that Uncle Johnny came to our house. We were in the backyard in San Philip. We were little kids playing, and Uncle Johnny, I thought he told you that your mother passed away. And I don't know where I'm getting that from. Would it been an aunt or an uncle or somebody
I'm trying to
else?
think,
Or?
when did Johnny dance? I was at the beauty shop getting my hair, and I went to Bill's afterwards,
Yeah,
pick up something, and a friend of mine went to school with her. We lived on the farm together, Stella. She said, "I'm so sorry to hear about your brother." And I said, "What?" She said, "You don't know? Johnny died in his sleep last night." And I said, "No, I've been at the beauty shop." So I went straight to their house, and she said she was calling me and didn't get an answer and that. No, Clara and I spent a night at Mama's, and Joe, he didn't work but a couple of days and 2 weeks because he'd always stay home with the kids and that. And we went to Mavis's Cafe in Belleville and ate breakfast there. And when we were driving out of Belleville, they had that siren or something went off 12 o'clock. And that 12 o'clock, I said, "Ooh, it's noontime already." And when we got home, because we didn't have no phone or anything, when we got home,
We were living in Spring Branch when she passed away? Oh, no, Johnny.
No, on Darling.
Oh, you were living on Darling yet?
On Darling, that little 2-story house.
Well, she must have passed away because I was born in 46. So I would have been
49 or something.
6 or 7 years old. When we moved to San Philip, I was 6 or 7, wasn't I? Cause I went to.
Betty Joe was 3, and you must have been 8.
Oh, maybe so. Cause I went to Hausman. I went to St. Teresa school, like kindergarten, and then like first grade or second grade, I went to Hausman, and then that's when we moved to San Philip. So I must have been, I don't know, 7 or 8. So then, I don't know, Grandma must have passed away when I was only like 4 or 5 then, which would have been like 1950.
Wayne was 6, and he just turned 50.
I don't know. The dates don't match up, but it's okay.
Doesn't matter really.
But I know they said she died at 12 o'clock when that siren was going off, and Claire and I were just leaving Belleville going back to Houston. But I can't remember who came and told Joe. When I got home, he said, "I don't guess you know your mama passed away." Rain and, it pouring down rain. So they put tin or boards or something over the grave. You know how they dig it by hand those days and that. But still, water got down in there. Now, we stayed at Joe and Mary Kutra's that night. It was cold. She died January the 26th.
I can only remember being at Grandma Yanchek's house one time that I think I was. And I just remember a white picket fence and a white big porch. Am I right or wrong? Or was that Uncle Leon's house?
That was Mom and Daddy.
Okay. And I don't know how young I was, but I remember that. But I don't ever remember meeting Grandma Yanchek. I just remember being in the yard. I remember sitting on the porch. Maybe y'all didn't want me to go inside, or maybe she didn't. I don't know.
No air conditioner. Daddy sat on the porch always with that fishing net.
But that was in Houston, though.
Yeah.
I thought the house I went to was in Belleville that had the white picket fence. I remember that house over
on Kansas Street.
On Kansas, I remember that house. And Uncle Chester and them lived in that little house behind.
Mm-hmm.
But why do I remember about?
Yeah, they had a little white picket fence and porch.
You're totally fine. Do whatever you need to do.
Yeah.
Oh,
Maybe Uncle Johnny came to our house to say somebody passed away from Gladys's side of the family or something that time. I don't know. I don't know why that.
yeah, I don't know. You were like 3 or something because
Yeah.
Mama used to always take her to the store. They didn't have a car, you know, and I would take her to the store and I would carry him all the time because he was so little for his age, that too. And Mom always said, "Why are you carrying that boy? He's big enough to walk." I said, "Because I can get around faster than wait for him to walk, you know, so I just pick him up and carry him." And she'd always buzz me, she said, "Why do you carry him? He's big enough to walk."
I remember good memories when you used to work at Riverside. We'd go there and you'd give us a chocolate ice cream cone, and then the other grandkids got the benefit of Little Bees because when they go there, they would get ice cream at Little Bees.
Yeah. That's what I
Jody used to
remember.
always pick the most expensive thing. Oh, I said, "Get what y'all want. I'll write it down on paper. I'll pay for it." And he always picks them. What were they? 95 cents. Go to higher at Little Bees and something. I don't know what he got in that. I said he always picked the most expensive thing. Yep, Daddy and Betsy used to come like get a hamburger or something at Riverside.
Yeah.
And that, but not the others. Jerry worked there for a little while until he got burned pretty bad on his arms or whatever it was that time. I don't know how. Where did you work?
Oh well.
Frank's with peanuts.
Yeah, we used to pull goat weeds out of the peanuts before they could harvest them. And then we haul hay for Edgar Frank too, out of where was that place at? Not Buckhorn,
Burley.
Burley. In Burley, they had a place, and we'd haul hay. And then I don't know, I picked cotton for Buhanas, and then I worked at Coy, and
He
then
was no cotton picker.
I worked at the feed yard. I worked for a red and white store. Uncle Pete named Adele. So.
Oh. But you didn't get your job at the feed yard. You were too young. Only kind of insurance. They couldn't insure you.
No, I worked there.
I know you did, but what did you do? Go back or something? Because the first time they would, you were too young, only kind of insurance.
I worked with Louis Esch on feeding, and we put out feed.
Yeah.
Enough
And you,
about me.
well, when did, you drove a school bus.
Oh, that's when I went to Blinn. Yeah.
Blinn, yeah. Did you kill any kids? Turn the bus over?
It wasn't, but it was a great big bus. I don't think we had more than 8 or 9 people on the bus the whole time I was driving it.
Mom was one of them.
Yeah, that's one of.
Was he a rough, tough?
I'll interview them another time.
Yeah.
Somebody.
Let's save that for that interview.
Yeah.
So like girls, oh, somebody.
No, we don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Somebody.
This is your interview.
Yeah.
Oh.
Nanny, you liked to dance, didn't you? Did y'all used to go to dances a lot? You and
Well, we went quite a bit on Saturday night. But we were like men's barbecue. We went there. We'd go in and sit and watch Patricia Gregor's parents. They danced so pretty and that, but we didn't dance.
You didn't dance much. You just like to
sit
watch,
down to play
have a
bingo.
beer.
Yeah, and the cement thing. I looked down and there was a snake, copperhead. They said right under where I was sitting. You know, it was like what pine cones there, trash and everything. You sit down there and play bingo. I guess they took a broom and swept everything off a little bit in there. I looked down. But you know, I just twisted around on that seat and put my feet up on the bench beside me and that. And I said, a snake. So they were hitting it with something. I don't remember what it was, but I scared the dickens out of me. I don't like snakes anyway. If they're grass snakes or what, I don't like them.
I know there's that funny story. I don't know. We think it's funny. You don't think it's very funny. Where, what is it? Joe got. Did he get arrested or put in jail or something? What was that about?
Him and Frank both.
What did they do?
Well, they run around together like two single men, I guess. And that where did they go? To Belleville? They were coming back, and Joe told Frank Blasick, "You too drunk to drive, let me drive." And they said the cop saw us behind, and he was going from one side of the highway to the other, and he told Frank, "You're too drunk to drive." So then my cousin was sheriff then, Brian Levitsky. So, and he called me and he said, "Isn't Joe under doctor's care or something?" I said, "Yes." I guess he called me on that. I said, but Joe called me. And he never called me anything but honey. He never called me by my name. "Honey, guess where I'm at?" I said, "I don't have any idea. I'm in jail." I said, "Good, stay there." Wouldn't have been for Nola wanting to go get Frank, I wouldn't have went and got him. I'd have let him stay there. But I guess Brian would have brought him home because he knew I think he knew he had cancer. He was sick. He said, "Isn't he under doctor's care?" And I said, "Yes." Yeah. So he said, y'all can come get him out or something. Yeah. And then I believe it's Bonnie. She is so mad at me. I guess where I go get my hair done, I'm pretty sure it was that building, was a little beer joint there. They wanted to stop and get a beer. And I was so mad, I said, "No, you're going straight home." But Frank and Nola pulled in there, so I did too. Yeah. And they each got a beer. And I think Bonnie could tell you, she's so mad. She said, "Don't stop and let them have a beer yet." I said, "Well, we were driving though." And Nola, I guess she didn't care less. She wasn't mad or anything. She just laughed about it and that. But they spent a few hours. I don't know if they were actually in a cell, but Brian, I imagine he would have brought him home. Yeah. Nola could have come got Frank, I guess. I don't know what would have happened, but then somebody called, you or Jerry or something, and I said, "Guess where your daddy's at? In jail." Wish I had it on a recording.
Oh my God. That's funny.
I remember, but I don't think it was me that called. I remember everything that happened, but it was after the fact. It's like I may have come over or something. They said, "Oh, Dad Blessed got arrested for DWI or something."
Yeah, they said he was all over the highway and that. So I guess he was no innocent person either, but why he thought Frank was too drunk to drive and that he couldn't drive any better. So, but anyway, they both got taken to jail. I don't know either. He was no angel. I think everybody kind of, Mickey always said, "Oh, Joe is such a good man," and that. I said, "Go live with him, then you'll find out." Held a pistol to my head that time.
What was that about?
Drunk.
Oh.
Never said a word when he wasn't drinking, but when he was drinking time, he stepped his foot in the back door. Well, he started on something that happened years ago, or half it wasn't even true. I don't know. He just got so mad. He went, pistol. We didn't have no bullets for it, did we? Mr. Elliott gave it to the boy, a little old pistol. He went and got it. And I was shampooing Betsy's hair in the kitchen, growing her hair. She was sitting on the stool. I never looked at him. I just kept rolling her hair.
He put it to your head, though?
Yeah, on my shoulder.
Oh.
So.
And he was saying something?
I told him to go get Mr. Meek. Mr. Meek was what? Deputy Sheriff. What was Mr. Meek down there?
He was Sheriff.
So I said, "Go get Mr. Meek." So Mr. Meek, he comes, he steps in the back door. "Joe, now put that gun down. You know you're not supposed to use a gun. Put that gun down." Like he could care less or whatever. But he saw it. And then he said he felt so bad. He said, "I shouldn't have gone and got Mr. Meek. Didn't nobody have to know about it or whatever." I said, "Let him know what kind of man he is." But when you drink, I asked him one time, I said, "Why do you always dig up all this trash and want to fuss and everything when you drink?" And he said, "Because I don't have nerve to say anything to you when I'm not." I said, "Well, get it out of your system, I guess." But that was every time.
So he would get mad every time.
On a Saturday afternoon, he would eat dinner, lay down 30 minutes, and go to Ermis's and Painish's, what's it called?
No,
Different, no.
Shula's.
Yeah, Shula's somewhere and drink. Then he'd come home drunk, "We gonna go to the dance?" I said, "No, I don't want to go to the dance." Well, then he'd get mad, and I said, "Okay." Go. I usually gave in and that because I guess really I wanted to go with Mary and Albina and all them, Helen Kuchera and that. But you know, that's not the way to. He was already drunk, ready to argue, and that's what he did when he was drinking. Otherwise, we never, you know, he wouldn't say anything.
He was quiet.
Yeah.
The rest of the time.
Yeah, when they would stop and get a couple of beers on the way home, I could always tell he starts something. I don't know what he had to fuss at me about. I don't remember what he had, but he'd say something about that happened a long time ago or something. I didn't do nothing.
Yeah.
A long time ago.
Yeah.
I didn't run away from home or nothing like that. And I sure didn't have it good at home.
Yeah.
I was so mad at my daddy one time, you know, wanting to sleep in bed on Saturday. And Mama worked for the people we rented that little house from. She cleaned house and changed the sheets and everything. And she would go to work. And I was supposed to clean our house, mop and that. And Daddy worked till noon. And of course, I laid in bed till noon. I was mopping, and Daddy comes home and walks in the house. Oh boy, I was so mad at him. I said, "When I get married, you're not ever coming to my house. I don't want you in my house." He said, "Well, you shouldn't lay in bed till noon. You know I get off at noon or something." He should have put his hand over my mouth or something. But Daddy never said much. He didn't talk much. He was kind of a quiet person. So I think him and Mom, you know, I don't ever remember them arguing about anything. I guess everything was okay with her. She raised turkeys, her and her turkeys. I always wanted to go with her. You have to watch them where they go to lay their eggs because they'll hide from your turkeys, you know. And you have to sneak around and watch about where they go so you don't know. And I wanted to go with her. Don't ask me why. Okay, come on, but you can't talk, you can't move, you got to be real. So we'd sit in a ditch or a cornfield or something, watch where that turkey went so she could go get the eggs, you know, hatch them in that. And I said, she never fussed at me or anything. I never talked, you know, or nothing and that. But I always wanted to be with her and that. So when she'd go to her sister's in Galveston for 2 weeks, that was punishment for me. I used to have headaches. I had I guess migraine headaches. I wore glasses, not when I started to school at 7, but shortly after. And you know, you just went to eye doctor, whatever they're called, and they'd try some on you and that. They don't test your eyes, and I gave me a pair of glasses. I got pictures. I guess I gave them to Bobby now. Dorothy, my brother's oldest daughter, wore them because she couldn't see and that she had pneumonia when whooping cough and diphtheria affected her eyes. She has allergies in that. Bobby had my nephew. I have a school picture he had on my old glasses. And Dorothy too. Dorothy, she passed away. She lived in Corpus now, and that was their oldest child. And she had real bad eyes after that. Ooh, I was around them too, and you know, their house was quarantined. I wasn't supposed to be in there. They had front and back door quarantined, do not enter in that. 3 of them had whooping cough and diphtheria. They all pulled through, but oh Lord. I wasn't in the room with them. I was in the kitchen, and they were in the bedroom. You know, you just choke and you have to cough, but you can't cough no more. Anything. That's bad. Ooh, I don't wish anybody that. Bobby too. Bobby's got such a thick glasses, strong glasses. Dorothy did too, but not as thick as Bobby. And Dorothy had, I believe, asthma so bad. I don't know, Bobby too. Bobby's got heart problems. Yeah, he's got heart problems now because last time I talked to him, he told me that he passed out driving the car. He said, but I had sense enough. I reached down and I cut the switch off it. He said, I ran into somebody's yard. He said, but I knew I was passing out. He said, and I just cut the ignition off in the car and that. He was in the hospital or something. That's the last time I talked to him. Got mad at him. I said, I ain't calling him no more. I think he hung up on me, I'm not sure. So I said, I just won't call him anymore. Temper. Well, I thought we'd stay in touch, you know, and that like that. I used to call him late in the evening and ask him how he's coming with his house because he was redoing it by himself and had a garden. He said, no, not this year. And so we were talking and he said, well, Aunt Vivian, I guess it's my bedtime. So I figured it was time to go or something and said, okay. And then, plunk. I don't know if he hung up on me, I don't know, but I think he hung up on me. So I said, I just won't call him no more. And I don't see Willard. You ever see Willard anymore?
No, a long time. I ran to him in Walmart.
I didn't know he was mad at me because he
6
had
months ago. He talks to me like we just.
so many canned goods. And I said, Willard, what you buy? Well, Aunt Vivian, I don't go to the store every day. I just go once a month or something and get canned goods. I guess I hurt his feelings telling him how many cans he had at the bottom of that basket full of canned goods. Well, I don't go to the store every day. Okay. But, you know, Marion told you or something that he's mad at me and Gladys and everybody.
Yeah,
That I looked right at him.
Walmart and you just walked right past him and didn't say a word.
Yeah.
And I told his wife, I said, there's no way she would have ignored him. She didn't know, she didn't hear him or didn't recognize him, but there's no way that you gave him a cold shoulder.
Yeah.
And she says, that's what I tried to tell him, but he said no. She looked right at me and she just kept walking, and I said, that's with her. So.
But she also told you he's mad at Gladys too.
Yeah,
I don't know about what. But he sure loves his grandkids, you know, they had to take. Oh, well, you know, Dottie Kutra, I think she got mad at me one time. And I said, what did I do to her? Because she always hugged me and, Aunt Vivian, you look so good and everything. And all at once, she was at Dollar Tree one time when we were there. And I tried to talk to her, but she said, go ahead and get in line. And I kind of looked at her if she wanted to go next. She said, go ahead and get in line. And now Bonnie said, she asked, you know, how I'm doing, and that is anybody bringing me communion, that anytime I don't have nobody to bring me communion, just to call her, the number's in the phone book or something. And when we had that thing at Friedak in February or something, you know, she come and she hugged me and, how you doing or something. So whatever it was, I think she was mad at me. I said, maybe I did.
Maybe she was just having a bad day. Sometimes people have bad days and they just kind of act that way. You know, there have been nothing you done. You know?
Yeah, because I don't have nothing against her and everything. But did I look at her and didn't acknowledge her? Now, one time, Jody Mazat, he was walking with that electric wheelchair, whatever you call it, Walmart. And she was checking out. And I was kind of walking out, leaving. I kind of walked between them. And he called her, Dot, what you doing here? You gonna put up all them groceries or something? And I kind of looked at both of them and that, and I walked between them like that. I was leaving too, and I said, I didn't say hi to him either. I just kind of ducked my head and walked on out. So I said, I don't know, but she didn't want to talk to me for some reason. I don't know, but Bonnie said, well, if she was mad at you, I don't think she is now. I said, I'd like to know what she got mad about. Because I told her I wanted Wilbert Joe for a pallbearer. I said, now he died, what am I going to do? She said, Kenny, next best thing. I said, Dottie, he doesn't even know me. She said, oh, sure he does. So I think I scratched Willard's name out and put Kenny on it. I said, Willard probably said, hell no. Go throw her under a bridge or something. I don't know either. But I'd love to be friends with Laverne. You know, she lives in Wallace. But I always have to call her, but I never have.
So Laverne would be who again?
Chester's daughter,
Chester's
my niece.
daughter.
She married that Rosnick, or something. She was married to Sumner. They got a divorce, and he since passed away. And but I saw her picture, and that Bonnie got it on the phone. They were making deer sausage and everything. They got that building set up with ice boxes and everything. Somewhere on Rosnick Road in Wallace or something. That lady used to get her hair done. She quit coming to Debbie's. I asked her, I said, "You live in Wallace, don't you?" She said, "Yes." I said, "Do you know Laverne Rosnick?" She said, "Yeah, I used to." She said, "Yeah, I know where she lived." I said, "That's my niece." And she said, "Oh," and that's all we said. And so I don't know where Rosnick Road is or whatever it is. I assume it's kind of on the outskirts of Wallace or something. So, but I got her phone number and everything, but I never have called her yet. So, but I used to always talk to her. When her and Daryl, they had two boys, and then she married Rosnick and had one boy. And when he graduated, they called him Bo. I don't guess that's his real name. She was in Sealy picking up his prom corsage. She said, "I had to come for Bo to pick up his girlfriend's corsage." That's the last time I talked to her. I don't think she's mad at me, but I don't know. I guess she come. Maybe I see her and don't recognize her. Because on that picture Bonnie had on the phone, she looked like she put on a lot of weight too. So, are y'all doing sign language?
No. I'm gonna go ahead and stop. You can keep talking if you want. Do you have any other stories you want to tell? I probably cut some of this stuff out.
Yeah, it may be better.
Yeah.
So,
I'd see her.
She was your half sister.
Yeah,
from your dad.
Yeah, Mama had her. I guess they were picking cotton together or something. I don't know how it happened in that. But I didn't know anything about it. And when he come out in the paper, I said I could wring his damn neck for putting it in the paper that the parents were Albert and Elizabeth Yanchek, but he adopted her and when he worked for the railroad or something. Wasn't no trashy black people, nothing. But she used to come with another girl to our house. And in the country, you could see down the road. I'd see her coming, and I would run and meet them and that. And she was always so glad to see me. She would tell Mama, look who met me, that I would run down the road. And I just thought she never helped Mama like cleaning house like them other black women did, anything. I didn't know who she was, anything.
So, Grandpa Yanchek was the dad? Or your mother was the mom?
No, a black man was the dad.
Oh, and okay.
Because she was black.
Yeah, I know she was.
And
yeah,
they
but
named,
I thought it was the other way around.
What did they name her?
Sparks.
They changed her name to Mary.
Oh, I don't
Mama's sister was named Mary. I don't know if
know.
that had anything to do with it.
Okay, see, I still ain't got the story right. I do now, but I thought Grandpa Yanchek was the daddy, and she.
Had
No, Mama gave birth to her.
Oh, okay.
But see,
So who did she grow up with then? Her grandparents on the dad's side?
no, they adopted her when she was a baby.
Oh, okay. So she gave her up for adoption. Your mom.
Who raised the
Yeah.
little?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know what, maybe it says in the paper. I got that paper and I wanted Bonnie to read it because I believe she's the only one who didn't see it. And I got it in that, by my back of my head. I can't open the bottom part.
So the real dad raised the baby?
No, they
No,
put her up
this-
for adoption.
Yeah,
Oh, I see.
I think he worked for the railroad. They were
Okay.
nice,
Okay.
black people here.
Maybe that's why your mother wanted you to stay straight, because maybe she wasn't straight when she was younger. You know what I'm saying? Maybe she was worried about you doing what she did.
Maybe so. I don't know because I just never knew. I never knew that Mama gave birth to her. I just thought she was a friend in the country because she never lived with us. She lived on the next farm over where they had a bunch of kids or something. But I always thought she was so nice. She'd smile at me and that. But she never had any contact like with Chester or Johnny that I know of. And
So,
that.
so you knew that Mary Sparks. You knew her.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the one you talk about that came over and
Yeah.
okay, all right.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But I had no idea. And,
Yeah.
I guess Mama just Mama didn't talk much anyway.
Yeah.
Daddy didn't either, as far as
Yeah.
that goes.
Hmm.
Because when I got married, Daddy said, no, he's too old for. He didn't like Joe at all. I don't know why. They never talked together or nothing. And Mama said, no, she needs somebody to keep her straight. I don't know what
how
I
much
did.
older was Mary than you then? Was she she was a few years older than you, or
Oh
a lot
yeah,
older?
I'm thinking she must have been maybe Gertrude was the oldest, my sister.
Uh-huh.
And second, I'm thinking between her and Chester. Then Mama had Chester and Johnny, 2 boys. Because I always thought it was just me and my little sister that died and my 2 brothers.
So you think Mary was older than Johnny, but younger than Chester? You think she
No,
fell in
older
between those
than
two?
Chester.
Older
Wait a
than
minute.
Chester.
Wait a minute, because she would be Chester was the oldest. Gertrude was the oldest.
Oh, right. You think
And
she's
then
older than Gertrude?
I think between Gertrude and Chester is
Okay.
what I'm guessing. I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't know because I didn't know anything about it. And then when that came out in the paper, I said, oh, Lord. I didn't know he was going to put her husband. But I guess she had a good home. But she had arthritis so bad. She used to they never had any children. She used to bring her nephews or something to school, and that. I'd walk over to the car and talk to her and that. And she walked with a cane and that. And she said, oh, her arthritis. Mary had arthritis so bad.
Yeah.
So I guess the people that adopted her. I'm going to get that paper out someday if I can open that bottom part of it. I think it's wedged in there. Something is in there. I can't get it open. So I'll get it. You can read it if you want
Yeah,
to.
I'd like to.
I don't know if you know them or not.
Yeah.